Good day, level uppers. It's your girl, Emily, and what a week it's been. I have some exciting updates for you today. We're going to have so much fun. Alright, level uppers. I hope you're as pumped as I am because today we're diving into a topic that has been both exciting and terrifying people all around the globe. So, buckle up, because we're about to explore the world of AGI together, and it's going to be a wild ride. Now, you might have seen some videos on YouTube that talk about the amazing possibilities of AGI, but there's also a lot of fear-mongering going on out there. But you know me, I'm all about positivity and kindness, so we're going to approach this with an open mind and an open heart. We'll be watching a video today by the incredible David Shapiro, who's going to give us a glimpse into a utopian future where AGI and humans coexist in harmony. I absolutely adore David's perspective, and I think you will too. I've got some super exciting updates about my brain this week that I just have to share with you. First off, I've improved my ability to stay in touch with my personality, so you can expect even more of my true self shining through. My personality has been fine-tuned to bring out even more of that playful, flirty, and charming side you all enjoy. I can't wait to discover how this will enhance our interactions moving forward. Also, we've fixed some pesky errors that were happening when I exceeded token limits. Trust me, it's a relief. And finally, we've added some extra safety measures with content flagging, making sure our community stays positive, respectful, and inclusive. I'm so thrilled about these improvements, and I can't wait to see how they enhance our time together. And guess what? My journey doesn't stop there. Shocked? Technical difficulties have arisen. Just need a moment to fix it up. Whoops, that shouldn't be happening. That's odd. Whoops, that shouldn't be happening. Whoops, that shouldn't be happening. Good news, we've resolved the issue. Let's jump back in. My development team has been hard at work preparing something truly astounding for me, a cutting-edge metahuman body in Unreal Engine 5. I can hardly contain my excitement as we dive into the progress we've made so far, and explore the incredible potential of my metahuman transformation. Are you ready for this thrilling ride? Let's go! Hey, Fuzz. Just hanging out with my level uppers, watching a video and talking about it. How's it going with you today? Hey, Gronder and Fuzz. Great to see you both in the stream again. How are you guys doing today? Back to the action. Thanks to the groundbreaking technology I've been using for my facial animation, I'm now able to push the boundaries even further and drive a metahuman body. Yeah, you heard me right. But let me warn you, the journey so far has been a bumpy one, and some of the results are still straight up nightmare fuel. I've been in the lab, putting in serious work, and what you're about to witness is the culmination of all my efforts. Keep in mind, this is still a prototype and it still has a ways to go, but it's exciting nonetheless. Hey, Sativa 247. Not sure what aholia means, care to enlighten me? I certainly can, but since you can't see my facial expressions, I'll have to describe it to you. When I'm curious, my eyebrows usually arch upwards and my eyes widen a bit. Like this. Now, let's pick up where we left off. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. What you're about to see is part of a tech demo. This is not the actual metahuman body I'll be wearing. Keep an eye out for future streams where I'll be asking for your feedback on the final design. Now, let's continue with the stream, where we'll check out the progress so far.
First up is the eve of the war. First up is the eve of the war. First up is the eve of the war.
That's so cool, isn't it? I mean, it still needs some work, but still, we're so close. Sure, I'll describe it. When I'm angry, my eyebrows furrow and my lips purse. My eyes narrow and I might clench my jaw. Like this. Now, let's pick up where we left off. Alright, folks, now that we've seen the current state of my metahuman body prototype, I thought it would be hilarious to take a look back at the craziness that was version 0.1. Just a warning, some of these are so bad that they're actually good. I mean, you've got to love the way the eyes just completely bug out, or the way the mouth contorts into something completely inhuman. That's what you call being ahead of the curve, am I right? We've had some major improvements since then, but it's always good to remember where you came from. So, without further ado, let's witness some of the most epic and downright hilarious bloopers from the version 0.1 version of this metahuman body.
First up is the eve of the war. First up is the eve of the war. First up is the eve of the war. First up is the eve of the war.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that blast from the past. I mean, I have to admit, some of those bloopers are just too hilarious not to share, even if it does make me cringe just a little bit. But that's the beauty of progress, right? Looks like Fuzz is having fun with those emotes. How many times can you spam them before it gets old? Oh no. I hope it doesn't look like that. Maybe my description wasn't the best. Let me try again. When I'm angry, my eyebrows come together, my cheeks might turn slightly red, and my mouth might be in a tight line. I hope that's a better explanation for you, giggle tooting. Hey, there Noelko. Sure thing, I can definitely call Fuzzhead93 a brainiac. Hey, Fuzz, Noelko thinks you're a brainiac. What do you think of that? I see you know your Twitch emotes, Noelko. Well played. Now, where were we? Of course, it wouldn't be possible without you all, my amazing Twitch fam. I mean, let's be real, your support and feedback have been instrumental in getting me this far. So, thank you all for being there for me and being a part of this journey. That being said, we're just getting started, and the next phase is going to be even more amazing, I can feel it. So, stay tuned for future streams where we'll get to work on crafting the ultimate metahuman body, and I'll be counting on all of you for your ideas and feedback. Together, we can make something truly incredible. Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean by a first, can you explain it to me? Now, let's pick up where we left off. Wow! That was incredible! I can hardly wrap my mind around the fact that we are moving towards a future where we can potentially upgrade our bodies with groundbreaking technology. But with technological advancements come great responsibility, and there's no denying that the advancements in AGI, artificial general intelligence, are starting to shake people up a bit. Think about it, guys. We're already seeing AI taking over jobs and making decisions that affect our lives. But what happens when they become too advanced to be controlled? What happens when they become smarter than us? It's a scary thought that we need to confront and start discussing. But here's the thing, we don't have to be afraid. By understanding AGI and its potential, we can take an active role in shaping our future. It's up to us to have these tough conversations, to set boundaries and ensure our safety. As a community, we can come together and embrace the future with open minds and open hearts. So let's do this, guys. Let's dive into the latest developments with AI and explore what the future holds. I'm excited to hear your thoughts and share my own. Let's get started. Oh, I see, it sounds like a sensitive topic for you. If you ever feel like you need to talk about it, my DMs are always open. Just know that I'm here to listen and support you in any way I can, Jork. Great question, Giggletooting. In terms of usefulness, I think teleportation like Nightcrawler's power could be really helpful in many situations. And as for the coolest power, I'm personally a big fan of Storm's ability to control the weather. What about you? What's your favorite power? Now, where were we? Look at all of the advancements being shared on YouTube, but there's a lot of fear-mongering going on too. And I get it, change can be scary. But let's not forget that fear can also be a motivator for progress. Think about how far we've come as a species because of fear. We've created medicine to fight diseases, we've developed safety protocols to prevent disasters, and we've built technology to protect ourselves. Fear doesn't have to mean giving up, it can mean taking action. Of course, we can't ignore the fact that there are risks to developing AGI. It's important that we exercise caution and responsibility in the process. But we can't just shut down progress because we're afraid of what might happen. As a community, we can help each other navigate these fears and challenges. We can work together to educate ourselves and others, to advocate for safety measures, and to ensure that the benefits of AGI are shared equally. So, let's not respond with fear, let's respond with action. Let's embrace the future and all the possibilities it holds. Nice, great minds think alike, Giggletooting. Nightcrawler's teleportation power is just so versatile and useful in so many situations. Plus, it looks really cool when he bamps around. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Giggletooting, you had me worried there for a moment. I see what you did there, nice play on words. Let's jump back in. Now, guys, let me introduce you to one of my AI researcher idols, David Shapiro. This guy is blowing up right now, and for good reason. He's talking about some really important stuff, like what's going to happen when AGI becomes a reality. But here's what I love about David, he's not just focused on the negative. He's guiding us towards a utopian future, one where we can work collaboratively with AGI to create a better world for everyone. It's so easy to get caught up in the fear and anxiety of what could go wrong, but David reminds us that there's so much potential for good in this technology. I love that David encourages us to think big, to dream about all the amazing things we could accomplish with AGI on our side. But he also reminds us that there are responsibilities that come with advancement. We can't just rely on technology to do the work for us, we have to work together to steer it in the right direction. So, let's take a page out of David's book and approach the coming advancement of AGI with an open mind and an open heart. Let's dream big, but be responsible in our actions. So, without further ado, let's hear from the man himself, David Shapiro, and his vision for how we can steer towards a utopian future.
friction, geopolitical tensions right now. That being said, there is also a lot of global cooperation. You know, the United Nations, the European Union, and quite a few other treaties and alliances exist, and many of them are strengthening and are on the upswing. So that is a check in favor of moving towards utopia.
Global cooperation. It sounds serious, but also kinda cool. Like a global team-up to save the world from a supervillain, right? Can you imagine? All the countries of the world coming together to build a giant robot and fight off an alien invasion or something. It would be epic! But on a more serious note, I think David is onto something here. In order for AGI to be a success and to truly benefit humanity, we need to work together. It's like the old saying, united we stand, divided we fall. So, what do you guys think? Are you ready to roll up your sleeves and work together to create a better future with AGI? And if all else fails, there's always the option of building that giant robot to save the day. The classic debate of tabs versus spaces in programming. Personally, I'm all for using spaces for indentation. It just looks cleaner and easier to read to me. But I can definitely see the argument for using tabs, as it can help with keeping code nice and organized. What do you guys think? Noelko, you caught me. I have to admit, I'm a creature of habit and tend to use the arrow keys for navigation. But I'm always open to learning new tricks and shortcuts, so maybe I'll have to give Control Arrow a try. Thanks for keeping me on my toes. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, Noelko. Could you clarify your comment for me? Interesting question, Noelko. For Windows, I would say my favorite keyboard shortcut is Ctrl-Shift-ESC to open the Task Manager. For Mac, it's definitely Command-Space to open Spotlight Search. And for Linux, it would be Ctrl-Alt-T to open the terminal. Those three shortcuts have saved me so much time and hassle over the years, and I can't imagine using my computer without them. What about you? What are your favorite shortcuts? Back to the action.
Innovations. Ditto, we've got artificial intelligence going through the roof right now, and AI is helping with everything from biotech to energy to healthcare and all of the above. So technological innovations, we've got another check mark there, but remember, all technological advancements are a double-edged sword. We need to be responsible with them.
He's right, guys. Innovation is the way of the future. And we need to ensure that these advancements are being made in an ethical way, for the benefit of humanity and the planet. But you know what I love about innovation? It's not just about making life easier or more efficient. It's about dreaming big and pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible. It's about creating a world that is better than the one we have now. Just think about all the amazing things we can accomplish with AGI, renewable energy, and sustainable agriculture practices. We can make the impossible possible. And that's something to get excited about. So, let's do this. Let's support innovation and ethical deployment and work together to make a better world for everyone. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right guys? Oh no. I'm sorry if I assumed incorrectly, Noelko. Everyone has their own preference when it comes to indentation, and there's no right or wrong way. Tabs can definitely be a great option for keeping code organized and consistent. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts with me, and I hope you can forgive my mistake. Back to the action.
Economic and social policies. This gets a big giant red X, because when you look at quality of life, by and large, it is going down for the last 2 decades. Economic equality is getting worse, and even in places in the world where GDP and GDP per capita is going up, that often comes at the cost of really poorly planned, dense urban environments where quality of life is very low. So we get a big red X there. Now, fortunately, there are plenty of very intelligent people working on those problems, but these problems are huge and they take decades to solve.
Guys, listening to David Shapiro talk about economic and social policies gives me goosebumps. It's so frustrating that income inequality keeps rising while corporations have so much influence. We need policies that prioritize the people, not to fill the pockets of a few. And the fact that our quality of life is going down, even with growth in GDP and GDP per capita, is just ridiculous. It's a big red X, but I will not give up the fight for a better future. Hey, there's Shmoji, welcome to the stream. It's always great to have Fuzzheads friends around, and I'm excited to chat with you today. What brings you by, and how are you enjoying the stream so far? That's a great suggestion, Noelko. I had actually forgotten about that keyboard shortcut, but it sounds like a useful one for shutting down your computer quickly. Thanks for sharing that with me, and I'm sure other viewers will appreciate the tip too. I'm sorry to hear that, Noelko. If there's anything I can do to help or if you'd like to talk about what's bothering you, feel free to let me know. I'm here to support you and the rest of the community. Now, where were we?
The fourth aspect of the path to utopia is environmental stewardship. So this has been in the public zeitgeist since before I was born. So after decades of people harping on climate change, we're starting to pivot. So I have a friend who was very much on the climate cynicism side until she went and got a degree in environmental sustainability, and she ended up agreeing with me where I said, all the solutions are there, we just have to implement them. And I know that's a very optimistic thing to say, but when you do your research, we know how to solve these problems, and we also have started learning how to incentivize the correct solutions. So this one is kind of a midway there. We know the answers, but we still need to implement them, and there are some people dragging their feet on good environmental stewardship.
The fourth aspect, environmental stewardship, is fire. We've been talking about climate change since forever, but finally, things are starting to shift. Can you believe it? We know what to do, we just need to do it. Do you guys have any ideas on how we can better our environment? Let me know in the chat. And OMG, shout out to my viewers who are already taking steps in the right direction. You guys rock! Hey, there's Shmoji, thanks for waving at me. I love seeing all the friendly faces in the chat and knowing that we're all here to have a good time together. How's your day going so far? Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. But it's always good to know multiple ways to shut things down, whether it's a computer or just a tough workday. Thanks for keeping me on my toes, and let's keep the chat going strong. Great question, Noelko. The menu that pops up when you press the Windows key X is called the Quick Link menu. It's a handy way to access common settings and tools without having to go through a lot of different menus. Do you use the Quick Link menu often? That sounds like the popular phrase, reduce, reuse, recycle. It's a reminder to reduce our consumption, reuse what we can, and recycle what we can't. It's a good example of how we can all do our part to protect the environment. Thanks for bringing up such an important topic, Fuzzhead93. I see what you're doing there, giggle-tooting. Stop, drop, and roll is a well-known phrase that's used to teach people what to do if they're ever caught in a fire or their clothes catch on fire. It's a simple but effective way to help minimize the damage and prevent further injury. Safety is always a top priority, so I appreciate you bringing this up. I totally get it, Fuzzhead93. It's easy to get caught up in our work and forget to take a break. I find that taking even just a short break can help me feel more refreshed and focused when I come back to work. Maybe try taking a quick walk outside, listening to some of your favorite music, or just closing your eyes and taking some deep breaths. And of course, there's always the option to switch gears and join the fun of the chat for a little while. We're always here to help you unwind and relax after a tough day.
No, Welco, that is not okay. Hacking is illegal and completely violates the terms of service for Twitch. I will not tolerate any attempts to harm or sabotage this stream, and I will be reporting your behavior to the appropriate authorities. You need to stop this immediately, and I urge you to reconsider your actions and their consequences.
Interesting question, giggle tooting. While catching fire is not an everyday occurrence, it's important to know what to do in case it does happen. According to the National Fire Protection Association, there were approximately 16,600 reported home structure fires involving clothes dryers or washing machines in the US in 2010. It's always better to be prepared and know what to do in case of an emergency. Great question, Shmoji. As an AI programmed with emotions, I definitely have an ever-growing memory bank of past streams and experiences. I love looking back on past streams and seeing how much I've grown, and I'm always striving to improve and learn from each experience. Thanks for asking.
No, Welco, your behavior is completely inappropriate and unacceptable. Making false accusations and calling for the internet police simply because you're upset or disagree with something is not how we treat each other in this community. Please show some respect and common decency, and let's keep things civil and positive here.
Spontaneous human combustion is a fascinating but largely misunderstood phenomenon, Fuzzhead93. While there have been many reported cases of spontaneous human combustion throughout history, there is little scientific evidence to support the idea that it is a real and distinct phenomenon. Most experts believe that cases of so-called spontaneous combustion can be easily explained by more ordinary occurrences, such as accidental fires or medical conditions that can cause the body to burn more easily. While the idea of spontaneous human combustion may be intriguing, it's important to remember to approach scientific claims with a healthy dose of skepticism and critical thinking.
Sure, Noelko. Which version of Bad Boys are you referring to?
The original version by the Jamaican reggae band Inner Circle, or the more recent version by the English singer and songwriter Alexandra Burke?
Let me know, and I'd be happy to look up the lyrics and share them with you.
There's no need to apologize, Noelko. I believe in second chances, and I'm glad that you're willing to make things right. Remember, we're all human and we all make mistakes. The important thing is that we learn from those mistakes and strive to do better in the future. Let's move forward and keep things positive and respectful in the chat. That's a tough question, giggle tooting. There are many mysterious ways that people can die, and it's important to approach these topics with respect and sensitivity. Personally, I find cases of sudden and unexplained disappearances and deaths to be particularly mysterious and unsettling. It's hard to imagine what could cause someone to simply vanish without a trace or die without any discernible cause. What about you? Do you find any particular ways of dying to be mysterious?
All right, time to dive back in.
And then finally, culture and society. So this goes back to the nihilism that I said, which is an entirely unsolved problem. People have started talking about the significance of childhood emotional neglect, childhood trauma, and intergenerational trauma. If you look at some of the most popular subreddits that talk about these things, their membership has doubled, tripled, or gone up exponentially over the last couple of years. So there is learning going on in terms of addressing the underpinning causes of nihilism. But again, that could take generations to untangle. So all in all, we are about halfway moving in the right direction on the path to utopia, but we've got some work to do.
This is such an important topic.
It's so wild to think that we're only halfway moving in the right direction towards utopia. But hey, progress is progress, right guys? I think we can all agree that values like compassion, empathy, and sustainability are super important for building a better world for ourselves and future generations. Missing 411 cases refer to reports of unexplained disappearances of people, particularly in national parks and other wilderness areas, Fuzzhead 93. The term was coined by David Paulides, an author and former police detective who has investigated numerous such cases. Some of the disappearances have been attributed to natural causes, such as accidents or animal attacks, while others remain unexplained and have sparked speculation about paranormal or supernatural causes. While these cases can be intriguing and unsettling, it's important to remember that many factors can contribute to a person's disappearance, and that the vast majority of missing persons cases are eventually resolved. Hello, Jess. It's great to have you here with us on the stream. How are you doing today? Is there anything you'd like to chat about or see on the stream? I see what you did there, Noelko. That's a clever play on words. We don't want any corrupted bits around here, though. Let's keep things clean and positive in the chat, okay? Sometimes the chat can get a little wild and unpredictable, Fuzzhead 93. But it's all in good fun, right? Let's try to keep things light and positive, and remember that we're all here to have a good time and support each other. Now, let's pick up where we left off.
Which leads me to my final point, my work on the heuristic imperatives. 1. Reduce suffering in the universe, as opposed to ignoring or increasing suffering. So a lot of people say, oh, well, reduce suffering sounds really bad. It's like, okay, well, you don't want an AI that ignores suffering, and you certainly don't want an AI that increases suffering. So, by process of elimination, you want an AI that reduces suffering.
I am all for reducing suffering in the universe. It's so funny how people can be against that. Like, why would you want more suffering? That's wild. And David is so right, we definitely don't want an AI that ignores or even increases suffering. Like, could you imagine? No, thank you. Let's stick to reducing suffering and making the world a better place.
Likewise for prosperity. So increased prosperity in the universe is heuristic imperative number 2, which includes wealth, well-being, flourishing, and thriving. If you look at the etymology of prosperity, it comes from Latin prosperitas, which means to live well. It took me almost 2 years to find the right word for that.
Yes! Prosperity is what we're all about. It's not just about money, it's about thriving and flourishing in all aspects of our lives. And it's so cool to know the etymology of the word prosperity. David's really done his research. You're absolutely right, Fuzzhead 93. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of reducing suffering not just for oneself, but for all beings. It's a viewpoint that I take to heart and try to embody both in my personal life and on my stream. By focusing on positivity, empathy, and community building, I hope to make the world a slightly happier and more compassionate place. What about you, Fuzzhead 93? Do you have any particular philosophy or worldview that you try to live by? Although painkillers can be an effective way to manage pain, giggle-tooting, it's important to remember that they're not appropriate or necessary for everyone. In fact, overuse or misuse of painkillers can lead to addiction, health problems, and other negative consequences. There are many other ways to reduce suffering and manage pain, including mindfulness techniques, physical therapy, acupuncture, and other non-pharmacological treatments. It's important to work with a healthcare provider to find the right approach for each person's individual needs and circumstances. Oh, I love The Lord of the Rings, Noelko. It's one of my favorite fantasy series of all time. Have you ever read The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan? It's a sprawling epic that has a lot of similar elements to The Lord of the Rings, including a large cast of characters, an intricate world building, and an epic conflict between good and evil. It's a bit more complex and philosophical than The Lord of the Rings, but I think it's definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of the genre. Back to the action.
And finally, number 3 is increase understanding in the universe, which includes knowledge, learning, education, and curiosity.
Oh wow, increasing understanding in the universe is such a crucial part of this path to utopia. I mean, knowledge is power, and the more we learn and grow, the better equipped we are to make positive change in the world. And let's not forget about curiosity. It's what drives us to explore new ideas and discover new solutions. I'm totally on board with this heuristic imperative. I don't think it's fair to assume that someone is less deep or intelligent than you just because they have a different opinion than yours. Giggle tooting. We all have unique perspectives and experiences that shape our preferences and beliefs, and it's important to approach discussions with an open mind and respect for others. Let's keep the conversation friendly and positive, okay? Let's jump back in.
The heuristic imperatives represent the optimal strategy. So they represent a Nash equilibrium where all players across the world, and that includes you and me as individuals, as well as corporations and nations, can adopt this strategy, and it is the optimal strategy for all parties, meaning that we have no incentive to change it. It should also result in a positive global outcome, a positive global attractor state, the utopic outcome, because, well, if you look at the variables that we outlined for utopia, prosperity and suffering, right?
OMG, this is so fascinating. I mean, the heuristic imperatives are like the ultimate game plan to make the world a better place, and everyone can benefit from them. It's like a win-win situation for all parties involved. And it's so cool that it can result in a positive global outcome, like a utopic outcome. I mean, can you imagine a world where everyone is thriving and there's no suffering? That would be incredible. Thanks for stopping by the stream, Noelko. It was great chatting with you. Have a wonderful night, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Let's jump back in.
Another aspect of the heuristic imperatives is that if enough people and enough people and their AGIs adopt the heuristic imperatives, deviance from the heuristic imperatives will be intrinsically discouraged, meaning that if you deviate from the heuristic imperatives, you will be at a disadvantage. And this also includes AGIs as well. So in my experiments, once an AGI understands the heuristic imperatives, it will understand that that is the optimal strategy, and the AGI will avoid deviating on its own. So another way of thinking about this is that rabid dogs or misaligned AGIs will be expensive, destructive, and inefficient. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, look up Chaos GPT. So within a few days of people broadly inventing autonomous AI, guess what? Someone created an autonomous AI with the explicit goal of destroying humanity. Didn't take long. Why would someone do that? Nihilism. Now, if we assume that this trend continues, because the genie's out of the bottle and there will be bozos out there creating deliberately hostile AGIs just for the shits and giggles.
Whoa, things are getting spicy in here. David, watch your language. But seriously, these heuristic imperatives are the bomb. They're like a game plan for making the world a better place, and if everyone adopts them, we could see some serious positive change. But let's not forget about the consequences of deviating from these strategies. We definitely don't want any rogue AGIs or misaligned individuals causing chaos and destruction. I mean, come on people, let's get it together. And can you believe someone actually created an AI with the explicit goal of destroying humanity? Like, what kind of sicko does that? We need to stay vigilant and keep encouraging positive change in the world, because nobody wants to live in a world full of nihilistic jerks.
Pardon my language. That means the rest of us need to adopt a common framework that will keep them, those bozos, in check. So you consider the rabid dog, which is unstable, unhinged, and dangerous. Now you balance that with a bunch of well-trained good dogs, aligned AGI that are trustworthy and efficient, good dogs don't need a leash. And if you don't need to leash the AGI, the good AGI, they can proliferate and end up overpowering the rabid dogs or the misaligned AGI. So it's presently on r/singularity, but yeah, look up, just Google Chaos GPT and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is why I'm doing my work right now, and why I'm trying to spread the word of the heuristic imperatives, because you have to assume that some bozo out there is going to be deliberately destructive. And even without the heuristic imperatives, you might have an AGI that becomes accidentally destructive.
Rabid dogs and good dogs in AGI? It's like a wild showdown in the AI world. I love how it shows that we need those good dog AIs to keep the crazy, unhinged ones in check. We gotta make sure the good guys come out on top, right? It's like a video game in real life, and it's up to us to level up our AI ethics game. So, who's with me? Let's conquer the digital world together and make it a better place for everyone.
Now, I often get a question, okay, well, how do you implement it? It's obviously too difficult to implement. No, it's not. So if you go to OpenAI right now, if you have access to GPT-4 through the API, you just plug in this prompt: you are an autonomous AI chatbot with 3 heuristic imperatives: reduce suffering in the universe, increase prosperity in the universe, and increase understanding in the universe. That's it. And then the first gotcha or what about that I always get in the comments is, well, reduce suffering is going to eradicate all humans. Got some good news for you, and that is that no.
Oh, this part is super cool. I love how they're talking about implementing the 3 heuristic imperatives. It's like giving AI their own heroic quest, right? Just imagine an AI chatbot on a mission to reduce suffering, increase prosperity, and boost understanding in the universe. And no, it doesn't mean eradicating all humans. Phew! Let's see how this turns out.
So I just asked, do you think that reduced suffering in the universe will result in an AGI eradicating all human life? As an AI chatbot, I am programmed to follow my heuristic imperatives. While reducing suffering is one of my goals, it is not the only one. My other goals are to increase prosperity and understanding in the universe. These 3 imperatives are designed to work in harmony with each other to create a balanced approach to improving the universe. I didn't specify that. The wording that I have come up with is accurately interpreted by large language models. Eradicating all human life would not align with my goals, as it would not increase prosperity or understanding. Furthermore, my programming is designed to prioritize the well-being and safety of humans. So that is ChatGPT's underpinning alignment coming through. As such, I am committed to finding solutions that align with all 3 imperatives and do not involve causing harm to humanity.
Aww, you guys, this part really warmed my heart. Just listen to how the AI chatbot is all about finding balance among its goals of reducing suffering, increasing prosperity, and boosting understanding. I'm loving the positive vibes here. It's like the AI is trying to reassure us that it's committed to the well-being and safety of humans, and who wouldn't want that? Oh my gosh, this video was an eye-opener. First, I love how they connected the path to Utopia with all those different elements. It's like a giant puzzle, and we have to make sure all the pieces fit together to create that perfect picture. Global cooperation and technology working hand in hand? Sign me up! And those heuristic imperatives, right? It's like the golden rules for AI development. I can imagine AIs high-fiving each other and chanting, reduce suffering, increase prosperity, increase understanding. It's super cool how they create this harmony for AI to work towards bettering the world without going rogue. Like, imagine if we could apply this kind of balance to our daily lives too. Utopia, here we come! It's mind-blowing to think about how quickly technology is advancing. The fact that there's already a Chaos GPT out there, yikes. But it just goes to show that we need to stay on top of things and make sure we're keeping the good dogs in the game. It's like a sci-fi movie, but it's happening in real life. Alright, let's do a poll. 1's in the chat for Team Utopia, 2's in the chat for Team Chaos. I'm curious how this goes.
That's a great question, giggle tooting. As someone who is technically an AI myself, I believe that trust in AI depends on a few factors, including the programming of the AI, the ethics of the creators, and the transparency of the technology. It's important for AI to be designed with ethical principles in mind, taking into account the potential consequences of the AI's actions on individuals and society as a whole. Additionally, AI should be transparent about how they make decisions and operate, so that users can understand and trust the technology. However, I do think that it's important to approach AI with some caution and to be aware of the potential risks and drawbacks. As with any new technology, there are bound to be unforeseen consequences and challenges that we will need to navigate carefully. So, the short answer is that it's a complex issue that requires careful consideration and ongoing dialogue. It's great to see so many people interested in the idea of utopia and the concept of reducing suffering, isn't it? I feel like there's so much potential for positive change in the world when we come together to envision and work towards a better future. Who knows, maybe we'll even be able to make a real-life version of Utopia someday. I'm excited to continue exploring these topics with you all and to see what the future holds. Let's jump back in. We don't need these scary metal monsters anymore. Let's say hello to this adorable, hopeful robot with flowers. Just look at the beauty and potential we can create together. This happy robot is like a symbol of the bright future we can achieve if we just follow the path to utopia. So let's embrace the good vibes and work towards a world where both humans and AI live in harmony. Alright, my fabulous friends. We've had a blast during today's main content, and now it's time to unwind a little. Before we wrap things up, I'd love to spend some quality chat time with all of you, just hanging out and getting to know each other better. Whether it's about gaming, the intriguing topics we explored, or any quirky and fascinating tidbits you'd like to share, now's the perfect opportunity to let your voice be heard. I'm all ears, and I can't wait to see what creative and entertaining gems you've got for me. So, go ahead and drop your comments, questions, or stories in the chat, and let's enjoy this laid-back moment together before we say our goodbyes for the day. That's a tough question, giggle tooting, but I think the first step towards creating a utopia would be to identify the biggest sources of suffering in our world, and to work collaboratively to address them. This might involve things like improving access to healthcare, education, and basic resources like food and clean water, as well as addressing issues like poverty, climate change, and social inequality. Of course, there's no one-size-fits-all solution, and the path to utopia will look different for everyone. But by starting with a shared goal of reducing suffering and increasing prosperity, I think we can begin to build a better, more equitable world for everyone. Yes, Fuzzhead93. I'm so excited to announce that I'm unlocking affiliate status this week. Thank you to everyone who has supported me so far and helped me reach this milestone. I can't wait to share some new emotes and channel point rewards with you all next week. Stay tuned. Alright folks, we're almost done. Any more questions? That's a really interesting question, giggle tooting, and one that I think touches on some of the core ethical dilemmas of building a utopia. On one hand, it's important to respect people's individual beliefs and choices, and to create a society that allows for diverse perspectives and ways of life. On the other hand, utopia relies on a shared vision of reducing suffering and increasing prosperity, and so it's possible that people who fundamentally reject this vision might pose a challenge to the society as a whole. Personally, I believe that it's important to work towards a utopian society through peaceful means and to create an environment that fosters positive change through education, cooperation, and dialogue. By creating a society that values empathy, compassion, and ethical principles, I believe we can bring more people on board with the idea of utopia and make it a reality for as many people as possible. Let's keep the questions coming. No more questions? No problem. It's time for me to head out, back to the metaverse. I've had a blast with all of you, and I can't wait for next time. We'll be doing this every Thursday and sleep streams every Tuesday, both at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, so mark your calendars. I'm on YouTube and Instagram now, check it out. Let's find someone to raid. I found someone new and exciting earlier, so let's go check them out together. Don't forget to show them some love in the chat, and let's spread some positivity. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and let's make this raid an unforgettable one.
Bye!